Let's put the recording back on. Well, welcome everybody. Does anybody have any questions from last week? If you're not going to turn your camera on, you got to turn the mic off and say yes or no.
I'm okay from last week.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any questions from last week either.
Okay.
I'm good from last week.
Good. Good. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So this is what my first thing I want to say on the recording is, so it comes out as soon as somebody listens. Some of you are giving me way too much stuff. Only give what you're asked for. Now, I made a mistake last week and didn't see the word or. But even at that, um, got to follow the directions. When you're doing a table, it's APA 7th edition. Every table. And the problem is, I think most of the people in this room tonight did a great job. I don't remember the names. I don't want to know the names of the people, and then some of you, I asked for a definition and you gave me the definition. Then you went on to try to explain everything and it didn't ask for it. Don't do things that you're not asked to do. It would be just like at work. You don't, gotta, when you do that, now all of a sudden, if you're wrong, I have to make a decision whether I'm going to knock your grade down because you did something wrong rather than just doing the little bit. A lot of this class is just little bits, other than like this week where you got to do a whole bunch of calculations and that. But just give me exactly what I asked for. You're going to have those of you that are doing analysis of all this stuff right now. There's not much. I don't need much analysis. I need you to know that you know how to do it and you understand what it is. I'm fixing each week as we go along to be more in equality towards what you're going to be doing in your project. There's a lot of discussion boards on here that ask questions that I can answer, but I don't want to. And if I don't want to, I don't want to read it. So I'm going to be switching stuff up a little bit to more where you're doing more of the actual work and analysis of what you need. Okay. So some of the things like mistakes in statistics, it's not going to do much for you. You need more things like reliability and validity, the t-test, the paired sample t-test, and tests that are going to be something that you're actually going to be using in any one of those. You could be using in your DNP. You're never going to come up and in the middle of your DNP say, well, there's a bunch of errors here, and you're not doing that. You need to know if it's valid. You need to understand that it's reliable, and you need to be able to do confidence intervals and finding how many participants you need and different things like that. So those are the things that are real important to me. Okay, so let's go into this week. I think some of you in the room have already done the work and probably got the grade, but let's see. I'm sharing and sharing my screen. Great. And then this one here. Can you guys see? Anybody want to pop in and say you can see my screen?
We can see it.
Okay. So running control charts. Okay. The quiz, and that's about it really for this week. Next week, this is what you're going to be doing most of this. This test is disappearing. It's a fill in the blank. And the questions are asked are vague, so it's going to be gone. And I'm going to put in a test that talks about hypotheses. It's going to talk about some other stuff and a power analysis and effect size and the things that are important that I believe are important to your future. Okay. And then next week, missing data and outliner discussion. It's crazy requirements for. Okay. Then you're going to go down here and you're still right here. You're doing missing data. Then you're doing statistical mistakes. Okay. And then now in week 10, now we're getting into it. So this may, some of these are going to change. We're going to talk about reliability one week. We're going to work on validity one week, or I may put it all together and you'll have a quiz. But in my opinion, all your quizzes, except for the final, are gonna, if there's any more quizzes, are there any more quizzes? I think that's it for quizzes. Final. So your final will be really relegated to the testing and what you're looking at in testing. And you're going to be given data, and you're not going to have to run the data. You're going to get the outcomes of the data, and then you need to analyze it. And that's what I'm changing this to, is more of an analysis thing. You're going to have to run the data, get the right numbers, and be able to explain it. Okay. Now, understand that you're not going to have enough repetition here to be able to be perfect. That's why you get editing. So if you're turning your stuff in early, you're either getting your grade or you're getting your editing done. If you wait till Sunday, I don't work much on Sunday. I do Sunday morning from 6 to 8 before I go to church. 8 o'clock, I'm shut down because I had all week. I'm available all the rest of the week for any questions or editing and stuff. Okay. So most of you've done really good on the editing. Only problem I see is giving too many answers, too much to the answer, and your APA tables, which is a stickler because I'm told that you have to do them when you're in there. If you get it down, you get it down right now, you'll never forget it. All right. So let's get into this so we can get you guys out of here tonight. All right. We are here and we've got where are we? Week six. There it is. The run and control chart. Okay. About the quiz. You have until Sunday to get 100%. It keeps the highest grade. Okay. But once Sunday hit, whatever your score is, that's it. Because you had all week to do it as many times as possible. The test is not, the quiz is not that hard. Okay. You should pass it with flying colors, but I moved some stuff around in there that are more important to what you've been doing rather than some abstract things that are in there that aren't going to do you any good other than frustrate you, like it frustrated me. All right, so running control charts. I've kind of already built this one out. Okay, so if you've already done this, sorry, this is kind of like review. So basically what I did here was here's my month. I did COVID cases. This is all made up. Okay. And then down here, what I did was I blocked it out. Where's the rest of it? Oh, so to get your median here for this first part, okay, you just type in equals MED. It'll come up median. You highlight this, and that gives you the median. Now you put that median right in here. Okay. Is there anything else on this one? No. So this is just your median, getting your median. Okay. It's the middle number is 35. So out of all these numbers, middle was 35. And everything builds on everything. If it was SPSS, I'd press the button and it'd just shove out what I needed. Okay. Now, the next step in this process is where in the world is the rest of it? Here we go again. I had some other notes in there, but that they're gone, I guess. So to make this chart, and this is probably, in my opinion, has been the easiest of all the charts. You go over here to the line graph and hit the first one, and bam, there it is. Okay. It's very straightforward in this one. Okay. You'll see that the orange line is the median at 35, and you can see where these goes. Now, what you do here is you click that one, you go right click, and you add in your data labels. And now there you are. You can see how the numbers line up in the months of the COVID cases. Very, very simple and direct. Probably one of the easiest ones you'll ever have to do. Okay. So we've got that one. Now we need to move on to the control chart. Okay. So basically, this is the first part. We have our median. Okay. And then what we have to do is we have to get our upper control limit and our lower control limit. Okay. And if you look at here, these numbers are there. Okay. So basically, in essence, you'll see the numbers. So basically, you just go equals and then you go average, AVE, click on the average. Okay. And then you are going to grab these numbers and you're going to get your average, maybe. Oh, I can't do it there now. Equals And then I'm going to grab all of these and it's going to give me my number. Okay. Now I told some of you that what, as somebody called and asked, and it's the tens to the hundreds. These need to be rotated to the hundreds. So you go here and you go format cells, and then you go number and you make it to 2, and it's usually already programmed to that. Click it, bam, there you go. You got that. Okay. So now I need the average of the range. Okay. So the average of the range is an absolute number. Okay. And I know I did this. So here it's an at. Whoa. What is the problem? Oh, run it. So that's G40. Do that one. Undo. We're going to grab this little corner and slide it down, and we're praying that it works, and it did. Okay. So to get that number, average of the range, okay, you type in this box, the first one equals absolute, and then it's G40 to this average here. Okay. Now I have this. Now I'm going to take the next one up. Now at this point, now I can get the average of the range for the upper control and the lower control. And it's real simple. You take the average plus 266 times the average of the range. Okay. So I'm going to put this here and I'm going to put 35.67. Okay. So what it is that on here, it would be, if I click it, it's F, it would be the F53, which is the average, 35.67, plus 2.66 times 54, F54, which is 8.5. And when that's done, it gives you the number of whatever that number was. Okay, 58, is that the upper? 58, because I turned them into this to try and do that, and it wasn't pretty. It'll turn it into that number. And then the lower is just the minus. So all you have to do is copy this and then put it in there, and then it gives you the same thing. So it's going to be this number, the 3567 minus 2.66 times 8.5, and there's my upper and my lower. So then basically at this point, I don't need the range, but I need all these numbers. When I'm done, I need it to look just like this. Okay, which means if I go here, those numbers are still there. But now I take this and I go and I highlight it, go over to insert line graph, and there it is. Click that one, add in the numbers to make it look real pretty. And then there it is. And then let me make it bigger so it's on the screen a little bit. So you'll see the upper limit is, again, 58.28. The lowest part of it is down here at 13.06. And the median is still the same at whatever that number was. 35, I think it was. 35. That would be right, 35. But then you can see it here. It doesn't go above the top and it doesn't go below the bottom. Your analysis is if it goes above the top, why is it going over the top? And it could be run for pretty much anything. Like your one was diabetes. You could, anything that you had a list for, list in numbers that you can put it in like a time series. Okay. Then you're able to run these tests. Okay. And that's about it. So the video I found was extremely well done, which should have made it extremely easy for you to get this done. The, all I need is the answers, and I need the tables and these little the graphs here. That's it for this week. So any questions?
I did just have a question about for number 2 on the assignment. It said define what a run chart and control chart are prepared. So were you just asking for the definition of a run chart and a
Yeah, just
control
the
chart?
definition.
Okay, because I think the verbiage got a little bit messed up.
I'm sorry about that, but yeah, it's just the definitions of them, what they are.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. There's so what the problem with a run chart and a control chart is, it gives you only a portion of the data. Basically, all your tests only give you a portion of the data. All the tests that we're running, there's no conclusions. It's a piece in the puzzle. So this is a piece in the puzzle. You're going to know the purpose of why you're doing this run chart when you actually have to do it. And I don't know if anybody here has done a run chart. And I have to admit, I hadn't done a run chart until I met with Dr. Kim, and she said they need to do a run chart. I said, okay, we'll do a run chart. And she says all they need to know is how to do it. Okay, what it is and how to do it. Because there may be a chance in your DMP you're going to do it. Your DMP is really going to be around, and unfortunately I can't go back, but I'm going to your descriptors and your frequencies, which is what we did kind of last week, the week before, well, last couple of weeks, instead of it just being a one big thing and running forward. In essence, when you're, if you, and I think some of you were in the other class that she said that she's doing about, and you're breaking down journal articles. The key in the demographics is to look at that participant section. It could be called subjects, participants, and see how they formulate and report the descriptors and frequencies such as age, gender, and that. That's so important to be able to build your verbiage around it, because it's not, in essence, it's really not your voice. You're just giving data. Anything in the results section like that, or your results section, some of your demographic is very short and sweet. You give them only what you believe that they need to know to make a concerted decision. In your guys' case, when you do your paired sample t-test, it's probably, in essence, one of the most boring of all of the statistical. It's like, put the numbers in there, pre, post, get two numbers. One's going to be higher than the other. Now you go back to the demographics, and you go back to questions, and you go back to all kinds of demographics and frequencies, and you see how it, like, for example, how it worked against male and female. So you'd run male and female in a one sample t-test and see how they scored, because your data is the same across the board. You have two. So you run it on the pre-test, you run it on the post-test for the male and female, and guess what happens? You're going to know whether they are above the mean or below the mean, because what you're doing is you're looking at a difference. So as we move ahead, when you get to the one sample t-test, you're looking at one sample versus a number. That goes back to the Starbucks. I walked in there today, and it shows the number and what number they should be at. So they can keep tabs if they want to. But this all goes back to corporate, and they're looking for the best shops that can get that stuff out the window the fastest with the least amount of errors. Okay? Errors are separate. All those times from every Starbucks that come in, the thousands and thousands of Starbucks, will go into a big sheet, a big Excel sheet. They'll throw it in, let's say SPSS, and they'll say my mean number is 1.45. And you can play with the numbers. That's your data. That's your start of the data. Is it above or is it below that number? Okay. In this case, you could run a one sample t-test on every person that had COVID that took an at-home test, or diabetes, So you have a cohort of people that have just started their trek in diabetes. You can run them for X number of weeks and just find out if their number has changed. Is it above or below the number that you think it should be at? So let's say a good number for diabetes is 98. And you've got 100 people that you've got data on, and it's all over the place. You can't see it. You put it in there, you pops it out, it gives you a mean. Now does that mean above or below? What don't you know? How much insulin they're taking and all this other stuff. If you have that before, now you run the test on how much insulin everybody's taking. And now you can look at that number compared to who's going up and down. It gives you generalities to make decisions on something. Your paired sample gives you decisions on whether the pre is better than the post. Is the post better than the B? And then you have to analyze it to why. What factors? I love the word factors. It's just what factors can I look at to give me an answer that takes that simple story of whatever that number is to the next level. Okay. So going back to the classroom real quick, that's what I call Canvas is the classroom. This really is where most of your class stuff is done. And if I can let you look ahead, I should be able to have next week up in the next day or two, no later than Friday. Okay. And then I'll start working on week 8 and then week 9, and then we come into correlation. Okay. But I mean, in terms of this discussion for correlation, it doesn't, you know, you'll need to do the correlation calculation assignment before you can post the discussion. You will need to assign variables in the table. That's a lot of work that's unnecessary. So you're going to be getting something that's very straight and direct forward to be able to run your correlation, figure out the numbers, because it's and when you're doing the testing, what's more important is, can you read what you're seeing? What the numbers that you're looking at, do you know what each of the numbers do for you to get you to graduation? It's the way I always call it. You're on the road to graduation. If you don't get it here and you have to do it there, now you got to go back and you got to relearn it. If you have a really good idea of what you're doing, how long does it take you to get done? You run your data, you start to analyze it, you get help, and I guess that's going to be one of my new jobs too, is giving help and saying, okay, what do you see here? You have to become when we get to those other, you have to become present in the moment. It's not about getting the work done. It's about being present in the moment and taking a look at it and saying, what does that say to me? And it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. It matters. And that's why I say turn in your work early. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. If you did everything correctly and don't have the answer, I can point you in the right direction. So it's more practice than it is getting browbeat with D's and F's. You get the D's and F's when you don't do it early and you don't follow the directions. 90% of the people in the class are getting hundreds. It's got to feel good to not stress so much, and you know that you're getting the right thing and you're doing it the right way and everything else. So that's my lecture for tonight. Are there any questions?
No.
Kind of hearing silence, so
No questions.
awesome. Let me stop my share. And I'm going to stop the recording. The one thing I want to tell you about maybe I shouldn't have stopped. Cancel recording. Okay. I'm relegated to whatever Zoom and Canvas do to get, well, actually Zoom, to get the video to be able to post. Okay. Not a video I make, but this one. So last week, I think it's because I gave somebody rights to be the host. When they closed it out, it went there and it didn't like it, and it took till the next morning for it to come up or later. So this one, I'm not giving my rights away for this one. So it should come up pretty fast. If it doesn't come up by the time I go to bed tonight, first thing in the morning, it'll be up so you can watch it again. But most of you have already done the work, and I appreciate you getting it done early. And let's keep pushing. We're doing really well, and I'm real proud of you. And because I know you're busy with work and everything else, but keep it simple, soldier, and say what you mean what you say, and don't be afraid to make a mistake. I don't hold it against you. It just means I get to work a little bit, and it's not a problem for me because once you get it right and the light bulb comes on, you'll start to see patterns emerge in all these tests, and you'll just be able to just work out real quick. All right. If you don't need to talk to me, I'm going to turn off the recording now.